Brian Thompson.
Yeah, Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, was assassinated. Like a real actual hit. I'm not gonna play the video here, but like, so there was a manhunt for days, essentially.
Yeah,
it was days. Yeah, trying to find out who had the audacity to kill this rich guy. And so the real issue about this story is not that it was assassination or that like he was killed by a masked guy. I think like who turned out to be Luigi, what's his name? Mangione. Right? Mangione. So this just sparked a lot of controversy and a lot of interest in the media, and I think just about throughout the internet, the media, because this was pretty much a equalizing strike again between the haves and the have-nots. I think that's kind of the way it's been like perceived by like most people, right? At least,
I don't know if it was
at least in the circles I've seen. I've been online. I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but the circles I've seen is like this has been like depicted as a justified, arguably justified. I mean, no murder is justified, but like as an arguably justified hit from one person to one who was normally untouchable. Right.
Especially when the CEO was the CEO of a United Healthcare, an insurance company who they are known for the distrustfulness that they spread amongst the American people. Like there's always this disconnect between the haves and the have-nots, right? The 1% and the people who don't have. And he was the CEO for one of the largest insurance companies in America. Like it's just like it came out of a movie, like this guy who's rising up for the little people that wants to.
Real talk, it did feel like it came out of a movie.
Straight out of a movie. I mean,
like the way the hit went down, the way he like left
who
the scene.
CEO was, what company he was CEO for. Yeah, I mean,
like this could have been like a setup for like a bigger theme in like a hero or like some kind of movie.
And people are goofing on the hit and the McDonald's employee that snitched, that so-called snitched and called the hotline.
Can we talk about that too? Because I think that's also like pretty like prevalent in all of this, right? Like the fact that she you guys know about the follow-up with the McDonald's employee, right? Like she
follow-up? No.
Oh well, no, she so she recognized the guy, she called it in, and he got arrested or whatever, but she got fired for calling that in. And also on top of that, you guys know that there was the $60,000 reward. Right?
Yeah, there was a reward. That's what I thought she called in.
So technically, but the thing is, she called the police.
She called 911,
and she was supposed to call the FBI.
You were supposed to call
I'm thinking, I'm like what the fuck? So now she's probably not eligible for the $60,000 reward, and she lost her.
But optics everything. So with a company like McDonald's, being one of the largest corporations in America, they probably didn't want to have that kind of publicity. It's probably easier for them to fire her instead of having her employed, because also she's going to turn into a semi-celebrity, right? People will come there to see her, and it'll bring,
Well, the thing is, the reason they fired her is because she made a personal call on her work time. That's the only reason.
Dude. Look, that's the reason why she got fired. You want to know why that guy was assassinated? It's shit like this. Shit like that is why that CEO got assassinated. It's shit, technicality, bullshit like that. I don't like that she called and she snitched on my boy. You got my boy, but
well,
I don't even know this dude. I don't know.
He was a murderer. He was a murderer at the end of the day.
I know this murderer, but like I'm mad. Like the fact that she called and snitched on her in a way, it's kind of like karma, like but like still, it's just like it's bullshit technicality. I'm denying your claim. Oh, you didn't do this file. You didn't file this exactly this way. So no money for you type bullshit that got this nigga murked. That's what happened, son.
And Claudine, that's a good comment. Wendy's and Burger King went in on McDonald's.
What?
Because it's all about corporate wars, right? Like it is, man.
Wow.
It's all about corporate wars.
Well, because the general issue is because it's like
if she worked for Burger King, they would have fired her as well. They would have had the same exact response.
We don't know. Alternate reality type deal. But like the another issue that's coming up is like, again, this is like based on the McDonald's employee, is like there are people who are like on either side. Like there are people who are telling her like, man, like you a snitch. You know, you deserved what you got. You deserve to be fired, and I hope you don't get that money. And then there are people on the other side saying like you know, you did the right thing. You should be entitled to that money. You shouldn't have lost your job on a technicality.
I'm on both of those sides. I'm on both. I don't think she is entitled to that money, and fuck her for calling them in.
I mean, like
I'm on both sides of this. I'm right on the fence. Like, that's some bullshit.
Well, try to
pay her.
Devil's advocate. Try to think of it this way: this man just killed a man in broad daylight, in public, in front of people. He comes walking into McDonald's. You recognize this man. What the fuck do you think might happen?
Right, he's a murderer.
You know what you do? I got a call. It's just fry in his bag. Your head I don't know, you be like,
I don't think you.
Nah, bro. Nah, come on. I think what also hurts is that video, like the visceralness of that video, him being unsuspecting and being shot in the back. I think we can all kind of identify with that because it could have been us walking down the street, right? Like it could have been us unsuspecting and somebody comes up and shoots us in the back. You know what I mean?
Well,
like your basic humanity gets triggered when you see someone murdered on video, right? But it just so happens that this guy works for a company who has spread pain and suffering to hundreds of thousands of people, denying them health coverage. You know what I mean? And we all know that the health coverage industry in this country is money driven. It's not about providing adequate health care for people. It's about the bottom line. And he is the CEO. His whole role is to increase shareholder value, right? Like, so like he cares about the money. You know what I mean? It's like the little guy versus the big corporation. And which is why we're on Mangione's side symbolically. We understand where he was coming from in this, but at the end of the day, he's still a murderer, bruh. I gotta call the police.
Let me say, so I'm just gonna read this from his manifesto here, right? I'm just gonna read this, y'all. He says, where is it? A reminder: the U.S. has the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world. Yet we rate roughly 42 in life expectancy. The United States is the largest. United is the largest company in the U.S. by market cap, behind only Apple, Google, Walmart. It has grown and grown, but our life expectancy, no. The reality is that these blanks have simply gotten too powerful, and they continue to abuse our country for immense profit because the American public has allowed them to get away with it. He says, obviously, the power is more complex. So anyway, he pretty much just goes in, pretty much saying what you were saying. Essentially, it's just like the United, and not just United, but the American healthcare system is so like money driven, so corrupt,
about
and that they leave people to die for profit. And like, and that him doing this, he even in this thing, he says this was fairly trivial. Right? He starts off, look, this is a trivial thing. Like, he did this because he just felt like he had to. He was like, this is trivial. But he had to make a statement. It felt like, like, you're right. He is a murderer, right? But at the same time, it's like,
Brian
Wolverine, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like,
murdered people.
Look, if you stab the right people are willing to give you a pass. Like, and this guy, Brian Thompson, whatever.
Thompson, yeah.
Yeah, like this guy was apparently. I don't know if you guys have heard, but like apparently they had like they're in the middle of a lawsuit. He had dumped like a bunch of
Yep.
stock.
Insider
Like
trading, yeah.
he had employed an algorithm that was denying people claims, like an AI
Yep.
algorithm
And they
denying
knew
people
about it.
claims.
Yep.
Like this guy,
He was
you
murdering
say
people
he
with a
was
pen.
working for the company,
He
and
was a
sure he
bad.
was because the corporation, the structure is the problem. But he was all in on that structure.
No, you don't get to be CEO unless you're all in.
Yeah,
You know
you
what I
don't.
mean? Yeah. He didn't
He
care.
was.
Brian Thompson didn't
You
care.
get to be CEO because you made their profits bigger
Brian
at the
Thompson did not
expense,
care
man.
about the people he was denying coverage to. So that's why we don't feel bad for him, you know?
And it's crazy because, like, yeah. Like,
I mean, you feel bad
I
for his
feel like it's a
children and his
general
wife and his
consensus that
family.
everybody's like, yeah, screw that guy, man. Like, it's unfortunate for his family. I feel bad for his family, right? Like, it's a like you don't ever want to have to deal with that, like losing a loved one. But like, man, say you find out that your loved one was like responsible for like hundreds of thousands of deaths.
I
It's
think his
like
family knew and they didn't care.
they
I
didn't know.
mean,
They probably didn't know or
they're
care.
part of
Yeah.
You were living the
the
best
upper
life.
class.
Yeah.
You know, their problems are
Private schools
disconnected
and all
from
kinds of good shit.
the customers of United Healthcare. You know what I mean? Like when Brian Thompson's family needs healthcare, they get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't. There's no discrepancy there. You know, when Brian Thompson needed healthcare, he got it. You know, so his mentality was totally separated from the customers of United Healthcare. You know, so you have a hard time feeling bad for this guy. You do, but I think the video changes it, man. Like the video, whenever we see stuff on video, it's just like your humanity gets triggered, bro. It just does. You know, you don't want to see people murdered or die on video. You
I
know,
only watched it once, so
and the cowardly way you shot him in the back. Like, come on, we all know that's a cowardly way to shoot somebody. But I guess if you're gonna assassinate someone, you don't care about how it looks. You know, you're there to assassinate them. You know,
I mean, do you think he looked at people in the face of the claims
right?
he denied?
Yeah, right.
It's like he shot them in the back.
Didn't even
They were
read
just
the
a
shit.
number on the
Signed
sheet.
it. Nah, we're good. It's gonna cost too much.
I mean, not
You
the it's always messed up. It's hard to like this does bring in a moral conundrum, right? Because we're in the moment, like we're in the midst. Like we think of Robin Hood, right? Stealing is bad. Stealing is not a good thing. It's like you should be punished if you steal, you rob, you do stuff like that. Until
You steal from the
the
right
rich.
people.
You steal from the rich and you give it to those people who they're exploiting. He stole from royalty.
Mhm.
I was watching
And he was given
somebody
to
who
their
was saying
subjects.
that, you know, a
Then
lot of
it
the
seems fair, right?
a lot of the wealthier people are kind of surprised about this. You know, how could this happen? Why would he do this? You know, where everybody who's not quote unquote wealthy, who's had someone who's had medical issues and had trouble getting coverage, completely understand why he would do this. I mean, there's just such a disconnect between the haves and the have-nots. Like there has to be some kind of systemic change, you know, especially within the healthcare system, you know, to where I'm surprised this doesn't happen more. To be honest with you, I'm shocked that this doesn't happen more. And if this doesn't happen
It'll probably
again,
never happen again.
I would be shocked if it never happened again. I mean, it something has to change. You can't keep taking from people without people fighting back. You know what I mean? But you don't have shit to lose. I mean, this guy probably had nothing to lose. Apparently, he has some trust fund from his grandmother that he might miss out on now. I was hearing about.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
he's probably in
Mangione.
prison, so he's gonna miss out on a lot.
Yeah, he's not. He's in prison now.
He ain't worried about the trust fund at this point.
Which is ridiculous. I'm like, this is crazy. This whole scenario sounds like something out of a movie, man. All right, so I'm trying to look up Brian Thompson's net worth at the time of his death.
One thing I wanted to point out was that, like, so I don't feel like this is something we're going to see probably again. I mean, not that I want it to happen or whatever. If it did happen again, I'll probably be in the same boat. But you know, like the goal for these rich guys, man, for the reason that they're coming out with these Tesla trucks and they're always advertising these new bulletproof cars that are like extra rich, like. The vibe is they know what they're doing and they setting up Elysium. Like they trying to set up the untouchable place.
Yeah,
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Allegiant,
Like, I
yeah.
feel like that's their goal. They're gonna have security now,
Yeah,
Oh,
right?
100%.
Like,
definitely. It's going
and
to increase the
everybody,
response.
Hmm?
It's going to increase. It's going to increase the response and security for the
Yeah,
haves, for sure.
yeah. All I mean, and that, again, that's nothing for them, right? That's
Yeah,
pennies to
that's
them.
easy. That's
Yeah,
easy.
like that's just,
So
and
so
it makes. Mhm.
Brian Thompson's net worth was estimated to be 42.9 million at the time of his death. This figure includes more than 72,800 units of United Healthcare Group stock, along with over 82,300 stock options that he had recently sold, valued at over 21 million. So a lot of that personal wealth was from that insider trading issue that you had mentioned, Juice, that they had dumped a bunch of stock before an investigation that had just recently happened. Yeah, so he wasn't overly wealthy, but still one of the haves. And I bet you whenever he needed healthcare, his family needed healthcare, they got it. You know?
And it's kind of like more about what he represented, even than him just
Yeah,
being
exactly.
rich,
Exactly.
right? Like,
Exactly. More so than how rich he was, yeah. Like what he represented. You know, I mean, how many people did he murder with the stroke of a pen? You know, he might not have pulled the trigger directly, you know, but his overall purpose was to increase the value of United Healthcare, not to provide great healthcare for their customers, and that's the way capitalism works. It's like, is make more money next year than you did this year at all costs.
And
I
how
don't even think
can
that's how cap.
and what can you
Sorry.
do to increase your bottom line? It's
Well, how
always
can
about the
we
bottom
increase
line.
profits? And
But
and,
is
and,
that
and it's
like all
weird because
capitalism is? Because capitalism, I don't feel like that defines capitalism.
but when you operate a healthcare company or an insurance company inside of the capitalist structure, when the point is for a healthcare company to provide adequate healthcare to its people, you have to prioritize profits or healthcare for people, and he prioritized profits and not healthcare. So that's where the disconnect comes from, man. It's like you said, it's like a Robin Hood kind of deal. We kind of feel for this guy Mangione because he is like a Robin Hood, but at the end of the day, he's a murderer. The murderer. So you have to bring him to justice. He has to be brought to justice, regardless.
Yeah, capitalism is just, well, according to Google AI, whatever. Well, here, dictionary, an economic or political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for a profit.
United Healthcare. It's not about providing adequate healthcare to people. It's about controlling and it's an insurance company. What's more surefire than insurance companies, bro? Like you pay car
Well, only
insurance, you pay health
here's the thing,
insurance.
right? Because a lot of this is mandated,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mhm.
healthcare is one of those things, right, where you have to have it or you die.
Right.
Car insurance is one of those things where the
There's no
state
in
will
between.
mandate you have insurance or you can't drive,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you have like these things that are like mandated. So when you have something that's like that, it gives an unfair advantage. And so look, it all comes down to like the system is rigged. We know this, and there's no real means to change it. You're not gonna like this assassination was like kind of a catharsis in a way, but it's not gonna solve the problem because we can't
Oh no,
assassinate all of them.
no, not
Right? You
100%.
can't get them all,
No,
right?
it's the
Somebody
age
brought
Can't
up
old.
that
get
It's the age old, like cut one head off.
yeah,
like a
exactly.
hybrid. Yeah, three
Like
more
the
on his plate.
CEOs, like the owners of that of United Healthcare. This guy died, and they're like, "Oh no, we really like Brian."
All right,
But
Jim, you go ahead
all
and step
these
in.
resumes came
Yeah,
in,
hey, why you gotta be Jim, man? All right, Jim.
All right,
right?
Jim, go
They
ahead and step
flipping
in.
through the resumes, like, "Oh,
Yeah,
Michael McNicholson," right? It was just name it. I don't know.
they found out he got shot. Said, "Damn, we really like
Oh,
Brian."
Brian, damn, they got him.
send him, send him some flowers, send him some cocaine or something.
Yeah, you know what I'm
It's weird
saying?
even joking about his death. It sucks because it's like he's a human being,
They
but
probably even like this, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's just like
But it's
they
true.
like they'll replace him.
How many lives was he responsible for ending?
It's the
indirectly,
system.
exactly. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so it's just part. It's part of the insurance game. It's crazy. The insurance is fucking crazy. It's
It
like
is.
How is it that like we are supposed to predict how often we get sick every year in order to choose to pay for what insurance that we get because it's
a racket.
mandated? It's fucking crazy.
It is a racket.
Like you have a better chance of gambling.
You do.
Gambling than like you do. Like it is like it's and you know the really and here's why I keep saying it's a systemic thing, right? It's because everybody knows it.
Everyone knows it.
Every single person is aware and knows that this is a scam.
But unfortunately,
from the CEOs to the politicians to the guy next door.
Fortunately, the 99% can't do anything about it.
Well, somebody else pointed out
it's really difficult for the 99% to do.
Somebody else pointed out that no systemic change that has truly ever happened in history where there was a large transfer of wealth from the people who have to the people who don't has ever been achieved without violence. You know,
nope.
There's always going to be a violent moment. You know, that's the only way you achieve true change when, you know, the masses have their foot on their neck, right? Like there's always and whenever you have a revolution, when there's a massive transfer of wealth, there's always violence. There's never a peaceful protest.
I don't think this is that though. Unfortunately,
it's going to be harder.
This isn't that.
But I think this is symbolic of that. I think this is symbolic of the people who do not have anything taking a stand against the people who do. I think it's 100% symbolic of that, which is why people are willing to give Luigi and Mangione a pass on this. And, you know, joke about how the person at McDonald's snitched on him and all that, you know? First of all, what the hell was he doing at the McDonald's, man? You just murdered the CEO. Like, what are you doing?
I know,
like,
man. And
you need to get as far away from New York as possible.
He was hungry.
Yeah, he was hungry.
I'm sorry.
Everybody gets hungry.
He was clear, son.
Yeah, he was good.
What
all he had to do was toss the gun.
Right, good. And then didn't he say he had it in his bag? Was a 3D printed gun?
Yeah, just toss that on the river.
Yeah,
they never found it. It has been
why did he still have that?
Probably a trophy. He did some crazy.
Like he
was a young dude.
He's not smart, man.
I'm sorry.
He's not smart, man.
Look, the fact that he was able to get away as far as he did, I don't know. That was. But here, let me. What I want to say. So we're talking about like how the rich are going to respond. This came out. Mom charged with terrorism for health insurance threat. I don't know if you heard about this. A 40-year-old Florida mother of three accused of threatening Blue Cross Blue Shield after being denied a medical claim Tuesday is being charged with threats to conduct a mass shooting or an act of terrorism.
What?
According to the police department. The quote she said is the woman on a phone call
on the bullets
said delayed, denied, opposed, according to the affidavit, and told the company that you people are next. So they charged her with terrorism.
It's a little strange that he wrote something on the shell casings. I mean, that's why I said this sounds like a movie, because like there also is a possibility that Brian Thompson was taken out. You know what I mean? There is the possibility that this guy didn't act on his own. Yeah, but you always need a scapegoat. You know what I mean? You always need a guy to take the fall. You know what I mean? So
no, I think this guy is pretty much down because like he's like, remember he was like yelling like, well, he was yelling about like the American people are too, you know. I don't think he's like a scapegoat. I'm pretty sure he'll be like, yeah, I did that shit.
I don't believe so either, but it's possible. It's possible. I mean, I think the whole visceral part of it is seeing him on the camera, sneak out from behind that car, pull out a gun and shoot that man in the back. That's the part that you kind of can't forgive. You know, you're a murderer, bro. Like, I get it. You're kind of a modern day Robin Hood, but you're a murderer. I got it. And see, that's the jokey part that we
don't even worry about.
We sympathize with. That's why we sympathize with Mangione, right?
Like,
we sympathize with him because we know.
Look, if he had shot like a random dude, hey, Daniel Penny just got off with choking the Neely to death, choking him out to death on the subway. They just let his ass go. He's fine. He's nothing. I feel bad for that situation. That guy had mental health issues, and he was in the subway, and he was demanding food, and this guy choked him to death, and they gave him nothing, right? Nothing. Let him go. So I feel bad for that. I don't feel bad for this dude, like Thompson. I don't. Like, it's unfortunate that it happened.
Definitely is hard.
But maybe, no, let me just chill.
Brian Thompson would have denied a claim to me 100 times out of 101. You know what I mean? Like, Brian Thompson wouldn't have gave a shit about me, you know, but it's just seeing him murdered on camera trigger something, you know, and I think it should trigger something
in his mother who's being charged with terrorism.
There's no way you can look at that video. There's no way you can look at that video, see that first bullet strike him, and see him fall against the wall and not feel something as a human being. Like, damn, you just killed that guy, like, broad daylight. Woman walking by. There was another woman walking by in the video. You know what I mean? Like, that woman was probably scared. Oh, shit, that guy's going to turn the gun on me, you know? So it's just, it's the video is what makes it hard, you know? But we understand, man. I like what you said, a modern day Robin Hood. He's kind of like a Robin Hood, man. And, you know.
So I just wanted to talk about the mom real quick, though. Like, so, like, I just wanted to, like, say, like, it's a clear overcharge according to, like, her attorney. Like, the fact that they're charging her with straight up terrorism. And this is how the rich are responding, right? Like, remember, the police are not really here to protect people. They're here to protect power, right? So as soon as people start getting uppity, as soon as people start fighting back, they're gonna start sinking the cops on people, right? So we're talking about, like, how are we gonna change the system? Like, I think it just has a break. Like, it's if Trump actually undoes the ACA, which is like the smallest band-aid on a gushing wound, we may see some pivotal changes, guys. I'm just saying. We'll see. Anyway.
Yeah.
It is 11 o'clock.
I'm good.
You know what's also funny is that that Brian Thompson was on the way to an investor conference before he got killed. Is like the timing of it is also why I said it could be that this guy wasn't working alone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like
he knew where he was. He knew
where he was going. He must have staked out. Like, how would he have the information to get to Brian Thompson on his own? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, the hitman nickname is not just a nickname. I'm pretty sure, you know, as a hitman, at least you know how to do your job.
I don't know. It's all just a little on the nose.
Did it?
It sounds like something straight out of a movie. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a movie in a couple years. I wouldn't be surprised. This was like a Lifetime movie or something.
The Apprentice. I think that got cleared to come out.
The Apprentice?
Oh, the Donald Trump movie with your boy.
Oh shit! Really?
I was thinking to say that.
I think so.
Apprentice. What the?
I listened to a segment on it earlier. I don't know. I didn't check the date of the video though, so it might be old.
Yeah, man. Well,
2024 film.
Hey,
with your boy Sebastian Stan.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, but this whole thing is just funny. It just highlights the resentment
October
towards
11th,
the healthcare industry.
It already came out. Sorry.
It just highlights the resentment towards the healthcare industry in America, and I'm with you guys. I don't think this is going to affect any real change, but it definitely puts the haves on standby. That damn, maybe this shit is hitting a crucial point where, like, you know, something has to happen. I think these guys, I mean, $42.9 million net worth. They are totally disconnected from the problems of the everyday customer of United Healthcare, of the everyday American, right? Juice just brought up Donald Trump. It's hard. How do people not understand that Donald Trump does not have the poorest Americans' best interest at heart? Donald Trump is not poor. You know, he doesn't work he works for his constituents. He has to serve the people that got him in office. Donald Trump is a rich man, you know? They
I can
don't
tell
have
you
your
why.
best interest at heart, bro. And even down to the healthcare system. That's something that we pay for through taxes, right? Like when you pay insurance, you're paying for this healthcare system that does not serve you. You know, it does not have your best interest at heart. I think it's putting all of them on notice, and it's not going to affect change, but I think what Frank said is going to tighten up security. I think you'll see robots, you'll see Tesla bots out there and everything, man. Next time, man. Where was this guy's
That's a
security?
lot.
Like he was just out there on the streets by himself, $42.9 million net worth.
Caught his ass slipping.
You're right,
So,
right. Definitely caught him slipping. Wouldn't you have security? Somebody there with you? A driver of the car? Was he driving himself?
I mean, he's probably never even. Look, nobody knew who this guy was. I didn't know who the fuck Brian
Yeah.
Thompson was. Nobody ever heard of Brian. Look, we know Elon Musk because he's a psycho, and we know Trump because he's president.
He's
like,
president
we don't normally know these billionaires and millionaires. We knew Peter Thiel because he's like, unless they want us to know who they are, those are the guys who have security who want to be in the public eye. There's so many who stand next to you at a Starbucks, and you would never know.
Yeah, you're right.
Especially living in Fairfax. What?
Even Brian Thompson, like in that video, he looked like a regular Joe Schmo. I didn't say anything.
Like they dress tacky. They don't dress like.
He dressed like a regular guy. Yeah, he dressed like.
You know what I'm saying? They don't dress.
Which is weird. Like, how would this guy know who he was? Like, why would he specifically target Brian Thompson? Why not someone else that's on the board of directors for United Healthcare or something? You know why?
Because he's the CEO. The CEO.
Yeah.
It's the trick. He probably thought that by taking out the CEO, it's again like you're cutting off the head, and so it's like it's going to have a trickle down effect of affecting change throughout the entire. It didn't do anything, but
I don't think he thought that.
General idea. I think that was a general idea that he thought, like targeting him specifically. Maybe he thought that it would affect some sort of change within.
He probably 100% thought that, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's like, his manifesto seems pretty cogent, and like he was just like, look, this is a petty act. Like,
never mind. That's right. That's right. I forgot he had a manifesto.
Yeah, he's just like, look, man, like this is all. They're fucking screwing us over. I did this because I had to do it.
Because I can.
He starts off, feds, I'll keep it short because I do respect what you do for our country. Save you a lengthy investigation. I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. This is fairly trivial. Some elementary, he pretty much lists his skills. Elementary social engineering, basic CAD, a lot of patience.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I mean, look, I
scoped this motherfucker out for weeks before that.
Yeah, he was like, fuck this guy, like in particular, so I took him out. But man, I don't know.
Maybe it hasn't come out. Maybe it's more personal. Maybe Brian Thompson denied a claim for him, and then
I think he did. He
had back problems. They said, right?
Yeah. There was a whole thing about him having back problems, and like they said they matched him with a Reddit thread where he was like trying to find somebody to do surgery on his back, but they kept denying his claims to get the surgery done, so he couldn't get it, and he had some like severe like lower back, like it was like a slip disc or something that he had to have surgery for, and then it also was something with his mom as well. I don't know. I don't know the details on it, but like no, this guy, and that's another thing. We gotta let Frank go.
No. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good till like 11:30. So let's
all right. So like the other thing is like this is the guy who I feel like the industry is walking on like a shaky ground because this is a well-off white guy, right? Like lower class poor people who can barely afford healthcare. Like this guy has a trust fund, right? Like he comes from money. He's educated. He has skills. He had a pretty good life as far as I'm aware.
It's not even like traveling. Trash white guy.
He's traveled to Japan and came back. Right. He had a good life, and he felt he had to be the one to do this. You get enough,
which to me sparks a level of
white rich people, and
sparks a level of craziness in him. He's a little crazy.
Yeah, you only need a few of those to spark change. We need a whole movement of black people to get rights, right? But you get like 6.
for all the points that you
Rich,
pointed
mad
out,
white
dude,
people?
for all the points you pointed out about
Men?
him,
Mhm.
I think he's a little crazy. He's a little nutty. Like this guy Luigi Mangione,
Back pain will
right? I
do
hope
that
I'm
to
saying
you.
his
I
name
don't know
right.
if you ever pulled anything in your back, but that shit'll do it to you. Man.
Yeah, but still, for him to be that well off and to be that educated and to be that kind of, pampered as a youth, to have a trust fund and all that, and for him to feel that he had to be the one to do this, to murder someone in broad daylight, to try to make a political statement or whatever kind of statement he wanted to make, he's a little nutty. You know what I mean? I wouldn't trust this motherfucker. Like, I wouldn't want to be in a room with him
You
by
say he's
myself.
nutty, maybe, but was he wrong?
No, he wasn't wrong. I think that's why everybody, like
How
I said, he's
crazy
kind
are
of like a
you
Robin
then?
Hood.
How
The
crazy are we
idea,
all?
well, okay, the
there's
idea to murder someone in broad daylight is wrong,
It wasn't
right?
broad daylight. It was very early in the morning.
It was wrong, bro. Because that could have been he could have missed and hit that lady that was walking next to Brian Thompson. You know what I mean? Like
But he
it's very
didn't.
dangerous for you to it's very dangerous for you to 3D print a gun and then discharge it in public to kill someone in a public space. I mean, you got to be nutty to even think of that in the first place. But for him to think
Sounds
that
like a
he's the
cop.
one that should be the one to do it, I wouldn't turn my back on this motherfucker if I was the one in the room with him. Like, I want to see you in front of me at all times, because they'll pull out one of them little, strings from his watch and choke your ass or something, man. Yeah, he's a little crazy. He's a little crazy.
Look, if
But
Batman was doing this, I think he would be a bigger hero.
I think
But,
there's
like,
Batman would have never killed him.
I think there's a certain level of morality that it's kind of I think it was Juice that said it's a conundrum, right?
Yeah.
It's like he is a murderer, but
not good.
he murdered a
bad guy that murdered
not
people.
great person. So
Yeah.
It's like an executioner is the murderer.
That's why it's so.
But if you murder a murderer,
that's why it's so much. That's why it's so much easier to kind of like joke about it, even though it's still wrong too. But it's like it's so much easier to just joke about it. It's like because
he only killed one guy. Arguably, he killed more.
Look at the company he was CEO for. He indirectly murdered people for a living.
How many people did he possibly save for a little while?
For a little while.
That's some comic book, that's some fucking revenge movie type justifications. Look, I have to kill all these guys because arguably I will save more by killing them.
The needs of the many.
What happens if I don't kill them? They're gonna kill others.
He's gonna keep killing.
I gotta do it.
He's gonna keep murdering people, and it's the long game with him. So I'll just end it now.
You're right, man. The insurance game is a complete racket, man. Car insurance, health insurance. I mean, it's they win in the end. Like they win. It's the perfect capitalist business, right? Because you have to have it, right? You have to have insurance. You pay on it, every month, whatever it is. And then when you need it, they deny your claim. You know what I mean? So like, why have I been paying this? It's the perfect racket, Because it really is.
Because it's the law.
It's hard to feel bad for the CEO, like I said, who's made
and why
money
is it the law? It's the law because the rich people have bought the politicians. They bought the seats in Congress. Do you guys know who Lena Khan is? Yeah. Her ass is out. Like they're gunning for her right now. So she's the head of the FCC, right? Yeah. So she's out here trying to make things better for consumers. And the first thing Trump, like I just heard it recently, Trump's like, yeah, man, we're switching. We got a new head. He's another rich billionaire corporate hack.
Asshole, yeah.
And they're gonna toss her out and put his ass right in there. All the mergers are going through, right? All the massive corporate bills, all the monopolies are going through, and that's how we get here. Y'all heard me say this before, but billionaires are a problem, right? Not because they're innately bad people, but because when you have that much money, you can buy anything you want.
Yeah.
So we saw what Elon Musk did for Trump, right? You see what they can do with this excess money they have. It has no strings. They could put it anywhere. if it's illegal, they tie it up in court for 20 years. And even if they do get convicted,
They settle.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The money is the problem. Billionaires can't exist because they break a capitalist system like ours. Well, they break any system, honestly.
When you can
So
buy
anyway,
anything you
that
want,
was
no
another
consequences
soapbox.
or repercussions. Yeah, it's like the limits are there are no limits. To what you
So in
can
the end,
and
the
can't
system
do.
has to break, and then it'll just be.
And it's probably not even their fault because they don't realize that they don't realize the wrong I try to always put myself in the shoes of if I was a billionaire, right? Like I'd probably be doing the same type of things, I'd probably be an asshole and I'd probably be, disconnected from the, because that money just seduces you and
No, it's power, yeah.
The power of it. Yeah. Like you can't, how can you not be susceptible to it, So.
Yeah. So they
Gotta
shouldn't
give Elon
exist.
a little bit. I do think Elon is a modern day kind of like a Tony Stark figure.
Don't say it. Fuck out of here.
We love
Don't
Tony Stark, but Tony Stark was probably closer to Elon Musk than he was to Robin Hood, right? Like Tony Stark would have been a
fictional
capitalist
character.
pig.
I was say the same thing.
Tony Stark would have been a capitalist pig, would have stepped on a little man. Tony Stark would have fired 40,000 people in a day if it could have saved his stock price.
Remember, he was. He literally was that.
Tony Stark was probably an asshole.
No, the fictional part is when he realized that was wrong. That shit doesn't happen.
The weapons, yeah, he realized
when
it was
he
wrong
changed his life
after he
and
got
made a
abducted.
super suit.
After he got abducted and damn near killed, then he
injured.
realized, oh shit, this is wrong. But how many millions of people had Tony Stark murdered before that? So there's a fine line, man. Like even Elon can be a good person, but still be a billionaire capitalist asshole. You know what I mean? Like it's hard, man. It's hard. Brian Thompson, for all we know, Brian Thompson, he probably was the type of guy you could have sat down and had some beers with. We could have invited him on the Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast. He'd have had a lot to say. We'd have been interested,
But sure,
he wouldn't like me.
He could have been a great guy. He could have been a great guy, but we know for a fucking fact.
I'd be like, yo, how many people you killed today, bro?
Yeah, how many people you murdered this month?
It's like we know for a fucking fact.
What are their names?
Like,
hey, Juice would have asked for their specific names. Yeah, name all the people you murdered this month, man. How many claims have you denied?
How many claims you denied today, motherfucker?
Right. Yeah, it sucks, man.
That's fucking record. Like we know for a fact that like he has been responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people.
And it is par for the course. It's crazy.
All for the bottom line.
Normal.
It's crazy how that comes back on you, right? Like, think about all the claims he's denied. Indirectly, he's responsible for the deaths of people, and for him to be murdered like that.
Dude,
in the streets
being
of New
murdered
York
is an outlier.
It's kind of like, it's kind of like
the rest are fine.
They're coming home. The chickens are coming home to roost a little bit, right? Like,
no, just him.
It's kind of karma.
The company will be fine.
Yeah, the company's fine. They're going to keep doing it.
Life rolls on.
Oh yeah, the company. Nothing's going on with the company. Yeah, they're like, well, shit. It's like you said, hey, we like Brian. Damn, then we got to replace him.
Hey,
come on, Jim. Yeah, Jim.
Hey, Jim, come on in here.
A fortuitous opportunity has presented itself.
Never let a good tragedy go to waste, man.
As you know, Brian was killed.
As you know, Brian was murdered in the streets.
We have policy for when these things happen.
You're the next man up.
Time for you to step up.
Right.
Now you might be killed.
Give him a speech. Look, in these hard times, we're really gonna need you to step up.
We need you to step up. Now there's a smaller chance that you might be killed, but
do you guys do you think this will happen again? I think like we said with Elon, they have this air of untouchability, which I don't think I think they will catch some of them lacking. I don't think this is going to affect true change in the system, but I could totally see this happening again within the next year. It might not be a CEO of the same company, but it's going to be, because ideas kind of catch on a little bit, Yeah. Yeah, I could totally see it happening again, man. I could totally see it.
It's weird because I don't want to be like, it would be nice if it does, because that's not good.
I think the nice thing would
I'm
be
not
if
saying that.
change happened. You
That's
know
not what I'm saying. Interesting.
And it's just funny because this whole situation highlights the change that needs to happen. Even the people in charge of these companies, the people that sit on the board of directors for United Healthcare, they know what they're doing. They know, but it's about making profits, and they know that they're screwing people. They know, and they don't care. Brian Thompson didn't care. He didn't care. He was signing off on it. He was increasing shareholder value. He didn't give a shit. So.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop. It's not going to change anything. Man. It's really not.
Anyway.
But we'll see. We'll see, man.
You guys want to? Well, right. You got like a few minutes. We can hit another topic real quick.
Says, can we talk about sex? I mean, sex workers.
There was an article she has sent earlier about. I think I closed it because I thought we were going to shut down soon.
You said sex workers? Oh, what happened with them? Wasn't that like a sex worker? No, I thought there was like a strike. It's like a union in a strip club recently, something.
Really?
I think so. It was like, I saw some article the other day. It was like some unionized strip club or something like that.
Word, man.
Hey, they got to make their money too.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, sex work is as old as history itself, man.
The oldest profession, as they say.
If it's one thing that's always going to sell, it's sex.
No, I'm in complete agreement with everything.
If they ever figure out a way to put sex in a 6-pack, you know what I mean? I don't even need to get married, man. Hey, I'm sorry. No.
What is that? Go
to the store, give me a 6-pack of sex.
What's the old adage? Like, if they found a way to tax prostitution, then we would never be in debt. Like,
100%, yeah.
We'd be in a surplus.
Hell yeah. I mean, what do you mean find a way? It's like, just do it. But it's illegal.
That means they would have to legalize it first.
Won't.
That's why.
Like, it's not like it's a complicated thing to undo to like make it legal. It's arguably legal off basis, and then they make it illegal. I guess that's how everything works. But
I think also child trafficking and human trafficking plays a big part in all that shit too, which is why they can't legalize it. There's so many devious people in the world.
I don't know why I can't. Oh, here it is. All right. Here. Euro News says sex workers of Belgium gain historic labor rights as new laws take effect. So this is our international segment. Dr. K says Belgium became the first country to allow sex workers to unionize and get benefits.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find some wording here. So the new law also grants sex workers fundamental rights, including the ability to refuse clients, choose their practices, and stop an act at any time, which makes sense.
Sex workers didn't have the ability to refuse clients before?
Well, not if you want to
depending on who
shit at you.
Yeah, no. I guess depending on who you're working for. Yeah, I mean.
Said law on Sunday.
At the end of the day, it's still my body. Like, I guess.
The law aims to combat abuse and exploitation within the industry, ensuring sex workers now have access to health insurance, paid leave, maternity benefits, unemployment support, and pensions. Look, real talk, guys. Like
maternity leave and sex work.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, unemployment support and pensions is crazy. That's like,
there's a whole bunch of
revolutionary
that come up with this.
Yeah, that's like that's damn close to revolutionary. I agree.
Yeah,
it is. It is 100%.
Like, this is like union level. Like, dude, like McDonald's workers don't get this.
No.
like they literally don't get this. It's like, this is crazy good. And yeah, this is what it looks like when you have a what do you call it? A political structure that cares about its people, right? Like,
also,
prostitution is one of those things that's going to happen anyway.
You said this is for Belgium specifically?
Yeah, this is in Belgium.
I would be interested to see the numbers that sex workers do in a year as far as money, because I'm guaranteed it's a multi-million-dollar industry. You know what I mean?
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Oh,
Multi-million?
100%. You know, like
Dude.
no, 100%. I mean, money is exchanging hands. I mean, this is a lot of money on the line. So, you know, and also in something like sex work, it's almost like an athlete, right? Like you have to take care of your prized possession. You have to take care of your prized cow, you know? Like you want your golden goose, you know what I mean? You want the goose to keep laying golden eggs, you have to take care of it. You know, so I'm shocked that they haven't had adequate health care and benefits before now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Right? Like, and okay, so about the maternity leave in particular, are we now? Are there stipulations? I'll be curious to know. Like, so if you get pregnant from a client, does not count as far as like, do you have to be married to get that maternity leave? Do you have to be in a committed relationship? Because
No,
you
have to be married to
you don't have to be married to
leave.
get maternity leave anywhere.
Yeah.
But you're in a sex work profession.
So
where you can possibly get pregnant I mean, I wonder what the stipulations are.
It doesn't matter how.
Oh wait,
it only matters.
Right.
Doesn't matter how it happens.
It's weird.
Employers now obtain authorization, adheres strictly to safe protocols, meet background requirements, including no prior convictions of sexual assault for human trafficking. Here, they must provide, these are employers, they must provide clean linens, condoms, and hygiene products, and install emergency buttons in workplaces. So that might help reduce unwanted pregnancies if they have to supply like hygiene stuff, condoms, contraceptives. If they keep these things regular and available, that might help reduce unwanted pregnancies, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter how. It's just the fact that they have that benefit in general is where it's at. So like if sex worker gets pregnant, they have access to maternity leave, which is amazing.
I'm happy for the sex workers overall. It's kind of weird because like you figured they would have had a lot of this stuff already. If I want to run a viable business and I want to take care of my assets, you know, you figure you would have had,
take that analogy and put it to insurance industry.
And an emergency button. You would have had an emergency button installed already. You know what I mean?
Take into account if a female sex worker gets pregnant, that would probably affect the income going forward after a while, unless they have clientele where that's a kink for them. Then they still have steady clientele then. But even then up to a certain point, you know.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
That's all. It's cool. I'm happy for them, but it's just seems like you guys should have had some of this stuff in place already. You know, at least the
thing. Like, I don't know what Claudine says. In Europe, they have social democracy, meaning leaving and universal health care. I don't know what leaving means. And they take care of all assets.
The way they take
care of the assets. Abortion. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. That's how they would.
That's cool.
Wait, so is Belgium? So sex work in Belgium in general is legal? I'm asking the doc. I don't know. I mean, it is now. I'm assuming because they passed this rule. Yeah, but is this the rule that made it legal, or was it already legal? And this is just supporting the sex workers, making it a law to support them in this way. I don't know.
Good for them, man. You know, honestly, my thoughts about like sex work and prostitution and everything is like, sex is one of those things that everybody can identify with. You know, no matter what your sexual orientation is, human beings like to have sex. You know, that's how we're here. Like, so I've never understood vilifying people for it. You know, I
think all vertebrate species like sex.
Okay, well, semantics again. But for the most part, we're human beings. We like sex, So it is, if someone wants to have sex for a living and get paid for it, to me, that's kind of smart because you were going to have sex anyway, right? Like I get the whole I get
I was
the
gonna do
whole
it anyway. I might as well get paid for this shit.
I get the whole shaming of it publicly, right? Because you're selling your such an essential special part of your body for money. It's like you're monetizing that, especially for in our culture for the women, they're more vilified than the men.
I think that's
Men are looked at men. If men get a lot of women, we're looked at as pimpish and we're the cool guy. But if women get a lot of men, they're looked at as a whore and all this. So it's kind of not fair. But yeah, I've never personally vilified people for sex work. It's one of those things that it sells itself. It's a commodity, and I'm happy for the workers in Belgium, man. They should have had a lot of these rules in place. Why not? If you're gonna do it safely. Get your money, and protect yourself. That's great. That's great, man. Do you ever think they'll legalize it in the U.S.? I know it's legal in Nevada, not in the county that Las Vegas is in, but it's legal right outside of there. So I think they have like what's it called, the Bunny Ranch, and it's somewhere in Nevada. It's right one of the famous cat houses that's over there.
Question though, let me ask: like, what do you guys think like the country will look like? I mean, and you can't really know, but I guess like if you had to predict or whatever, what do you think the country would look like if sex work was legal and supported in America?
I don't think it would change much.
You don't think so?
I don't think it would actually change much.
I honestly don't think so either.
I think it would be business as usual.
I don't think it would change. I don't think it would change for like normal people. I think it would change. I think it would, if it was legal, then it would be taxed. It could be unionized. Mm-hmm. So I feel like quality of life for the sex workers would increase.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like for everyone else, it just would be whatever. I feel like maybe on like the government side of things, maybe things might change. Like I mentioned before, we'd be in a surplus, and then money would be handled differently as a result. Taxpayers' monies would go a lot farther, hopefully. But then again, we don't make the determination on how that's spent.
They'll just send it to Israel.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, right.
Anyway, I was just thinking, so like, I wonder like what the competition would be like. Would there be more like, like I think if they did do it, they would have to like they do in Belgium. Claudine says they have districts where it's legal, right? I feel like there would have to be areas where it's legal. You don't want to you want a brothel next to the grocery store, right?
Elementary school and shit.
Yeah. I guess elementary school. Unless it makes it easier to pick up your kid after work.
Yeah, anyway, coming out, but I'm gonna work there when I get older.
And to kind of add to that too, it's what
there be somebody.
To kind of add to that, to what Dee was talking about with vilifying, I think that would be seen from a different perspective. Maybe not so much, because I think the very act of vilifying sex workers is based on insecurity.
Little dick syndrome.
Yeah, just in general, just security, insecurity, and morale, where you feel like your morality compass lies, and you feel like, oh, that's beneath me. That's not something I would ever do, or something like that. I don't know. So it's like that would be, the vilifying might still continue, but it might be from more from that standpoint, more from a personal standpoint as to why they're vilified.
Yeah.
And not so much hiding it under the guise of it being from a financial standpoint, or from a inclusive standpoint of they have benefits like everyone else, with normal jobs, right?
Yeah.
So
Christians lose that shit.
Right.
Or not even just Christians, just religious zealots, just
religious
people.
Exactly. It would be religion mainly. And Claudine said Christian jealousy. Yeah.
And also just regular, therapeutic massage is completely legal, right? It's kind of
how much cheaper massages would be.
different kind of massage. They're pretty much what it is, you know. Like
competition might start there, right?
it should be legal.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, as long as
imagine
it's done
just
in a
like
safe way, and you know the workers are protected. I don't understand why they wouldn't legalize it. It's a whole new revenue stream as far as taxes go, and overall, it would give people, you know, a profession that they can, especially women, that they can always have. That's always in demand. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't have to be. You wouldn't have to be criminalized for it. You know, I wonder why they don't legalize it. You know,
because, dude, the same reason that they're tripping about abortion right now.
yeah, the Christian ideals.
Like, yeah, like the same reason that they're like vilifying trans people and homosexuality again.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the conservative mind. They need something to hate, so they'll find something that scares them.
Yeah,
They don't understand.
I'm glad Belgium is forward thinking.
And little dick syndrome is serious, man. Like, you have too many women with too much confidence. It makes small men, not even like, let me stop saying little dick. It makes small, insecure men like fearful,
especially in a patriarchal society.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like imagine the next billionaire being the madam of a brothel, right?
Yeah, 100%,
like Elon Musk.
Oh, Elon Musk is opening a brothel immediately if they ever legalize that shit, bro.
Huh?
Elon Musk probably already has a couple, but you know,
yeah, probably
guaranteed. I mean, we just sat there and talked about the depravity of these people and the disconnect. The people who have billions of dollars who they feel they can buy anything. They're already involved in all this sex work and all that stuff. I mean,
oh yeah. You know, the crazy thing is, like, Diddy probably wouldn't be in as much trouble if these shits was fucking legal.
Diddy would have.
Like, imagine all of this, like whole accusations, all of the whole Me Too. Imagine it being legal, so these guys can handle their shit and not have to take it everywhere else. I mean, sometimes it's a power thing for them.
There would be more acceptance. There would be more acceptance of some of the depraved acts.
Yeah,
right? Like, or like a different bar for like what is considered to be depraved.
Or consensual, you know, obviously not with children. You know, anything with children or underage people.
Never. No.
Yeah. But some of the more like consensual acts between, you know, adults, you know, might not be looked down upon so much.
If you want to get your BDSM on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, speaking of Diddy, I hope Diddy.
That one's brought over there by McDonald's.
The thing is, like,
do you know no Diddy is a saying now? Like, it's like, you know, no homo or something like that. No Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Damn, he's been turned into a saying, man.
He's turned into a meme.
I heard somebody say something on YouTube the other day. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna grease you up, no Diddy." And then I was just like, "Oh man,
wait, what's the context for the first statement?"
But it actually fits though. No Diddy, it goes. You know what I'm saying? No Diddy. You know what I'm saying?
Then you have to say that if the context is I'm gonna grease you up. Like, whoa.
Diddy he's been taken down so low that he's gotten, you know, no Diddy is a thing now, man.
Yeah, no Diddy's a thing, man.
He used to be on top of the world, man. Take that. You know, now no Diddy, man.
Take that means a whole nother thing now.
Yeah, take that.